Hello again. So you find me with my head in my hands at the moment. I'm working on a really big, complicated project, and to be honest, I feel a little overwhelmed, my head hurts, and I feel like my brains are going to dribble out my ears. There's just so much that I have to think about in this project as a UX designer, so many components, so much to consider, from aesthetics and page flow to information architecture and brand messaging. The list of things that you need to think about as a designer can feel endless sometimes, can't it? However, sometimes I'm my own worst enemy, especially when there are deadlines pressing. I jump into Figma and start trying to create some kind of structure out of my chaotic thoughts. And if I'm honest with you, that rarely ends well. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who has these feelings. And I'm pretty confident I'm not the only person who starts pushing pixels around as if somehow they're going to spontaneously lead to good design. But I really should know better, because that's not how I work in my saner moments. When I'm thinking rationally, I break my design process down into a series of steps, with each step focusing on one particular aspect of the overall experience. Effectively, instead of getting overwhelmed, I divide and conquer. So I typically start with, say, the value proposition. What does the website offer and why would anyone want it? Then I identify questions and objections that people might have, and also any tasks that they want to complete. I then organize these different content areas using something like card sorting or creating a UX flow. Then I start to explore individual pages, specific key pages in the site through wireframing, and look at their page flow and their structure. Next, I move on to visual aesthetics by creating things like mood boards. And only after I've done all of that do I start to bring together everything into high-fidelity page designs. And breaking the design of a website down like this allows me to test each part as I go. However, more importantly, it focuses my stakeholders and myself on giving the attention to the right things at the right time, that everything gets the attention it deserves. You see, the problem with just opening Figma and starting designing is that you have to think about all of these different design aspects simultaneously, and it overwhelms you. And so you're going to fail to give each of the areas the attention it deserves. Also, it can muddy the feedback that you get from both stakeholders and users. For example, do they dislike the design because of the content or the aesthetics? Or are they failing to complete a task because of the information architecture or the flow of any individual page? Yes, I'm aware that this way of working, breaking things down, sounds like a lot of additional work, but it isn't in practice. You can waste hours agonizing over a design because you know that something is wrong with it, but you can't really pin down precisely what or how to fix it. By breaking the process down and looking at each of the different elements separately, I can make decisions much faster because I'm clear about what problem I'm solving. Then there's the fact that creating high-fidelity mockups takes a lot of time to produce. That means when you're creating them, you need to be confident that they're going to be right. And that means that they're not really a very good tool for prototyping and iteration. You'll be better off using something like tree diagrams or wireframes or mood boards because they're fast to create and disposable. So next time you're faced with a complicated design challenge, resist the urge to just rush headlong into creating high-fidelity designs. Instead, take your time to break the problem down and approach each part of it separately, and bring those parts together step by step until you've got your final design.